Good morning. I asked Wendy to join us this morning as we talk about 1 Samuel chapter 17 and the story of David and Goliath. And it's such a well-known story, been told so many times, and the kind of story that I think everybody appreciates if they appreciate the Bible. What is it that you like the best, or that God has used the most out of this particular story to impress on you from His Word?
I think, first of all, is a reminder that we all face giants. But I also love that when David came up against a giant, it's like he had complete confidence. He never questioned, he never doubted, because he had a track record with God. He knew that God was faithful. He had experienced God's provision, being a shepherd and seeing God protect him and give him the ability to overcome whatever situation was put before him.
Yeah, and I think when he showed up, he was quite disappointed because the soldiers, they're shaking in their boots at this giant. He comes up, he says, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" I love his confidence, and I love the fact that even as a young boy, he knows better than to act like this. He's looking to these grown men as an example, and he's not finding it because they're terrified.
Well, in his mind, they had God on their side, so why would they ever even hesitate?
Absolutely, and that's that childlike faith that we're all supposed to have. He goes on to tell the story when he tells Saul. He says, David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine." Verse 32, he says, hey king, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it.
That's right. And then the king tries to put his armor on David. I mean, here's a grown man putting his armor on David, and it talks about how it didn't fit. And as I mentioned earlier, we all have giants, and just like God prepared David with the tools that he would use to face Goliath, God has prepared us with tools for the battles that we have coming, or that we have gone through.
Absolutely. And David had to reject Saul's weapons and his armor. And instead, he went down to the creek and he chose out 5 smooth stones, and he took his sling because that's what he knew. That's what he had a track record with God. He told the story. He says, "One time when I was tending my father's sheep, there came a lion. There came a bear. And," he says, "I went out after him and I smote him and I delivered it out of his mouth." He says, "The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, He will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine." And Saul couldn't argue with that. He told David, he said, "Go, and the Lord be with thee."
Well, and I think it's so important that we share that track record we have with God. If you read in Psalm 44:1, it says, "We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us." It is our responsibility for us to tell our children and our children's children and those we come in contact with. It says, "We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days in the times of old." It is imperative that we show our kids those Ebenezers, those standing stones, that we remind them of God's faithfulness, so the next time we're in a situation we go, "Oh yeah, remember, we've been there before, and God was faithful then, and He will be faithful now."
Yeah, so you need to have the faith handed down to you from former generations, and then you need to walk with God yourself. When David faces this Philistine, he was facing him in the power of God, in the name of God, out of a walk with God that David had experienced for himself.
That's right.
And I think another thing that I really appreciate about the story is that David's not trying to show off.
No.
David is concerned about God getting all the glory. He knows better than to act the way that the soldiers are acting. And he says that whenever he kills this giant and cuts off his head, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And so David wants for God to receive all the glory.
And we should be that way too. When we fight these giants, when we have these battles in our lives and we overcome them, it is our job to proclaim God's goodness and to tell others what the Lord has done for us.
Absolutely. Well, hey, God bless you. Thanks for joining us this morning, and I hope you have a great day.